Imagine arriving at this grand wedding feast, right? But you're a stranger, and suddenly your arrival sparks this huge debate about hospitality itself. What would that tell you about a kingdom back then?
Yeah, it sets a fascinating scene immediately.
So today we're doing a deep dive into Audicech 4. Our mission is to pull out the really important bits of knowledge, the insights into ancient Greek culture, wealth, grief, and a pretty tense plot that spans land and sea.
Exactly. We're following young Telemachus on his quest, and we witness these, well, surprising twists. We land right in Lakedaimon, glorious King Menelaos' home, smack in the middle of this wedding feast.
Okay, so they arrive, Telemachus and Pisistratos, Nestor's son. What happens right at the door? It's not a simple welcome, is it?
No, not quite. They pull up, and this guy, Eteonius, Menelaos' active henchman, he actually pauses. He hesitates.
Hesitates about letting strangers into a king's feast.
Yeah, he basically asks, should we entertain these guys or, send them somewhere else?
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
well, it's a bit jarring given the context.
And how does Menelaos react to that? Because hospitality, Xenia, that's supposed to be absolutely
Yeah,
central.
he's furious, deeply angered. He calls Eteonius' reaction babbling nonsense, as a child would do.
Strong words.
Very. He emphasizes, look, I've received hospitality myself from others. It's fundamental. He immediately orders them, unharness the horses, bring the men inside.
So no question from the top, hospitality is non-negotiable.
Absolutely not. For a king like Menelaos, it's about honor, reputation, maybe even divine law. It's a core principle.
And the treatment they then receive, it's just, wow. The text goes into such detail.
It really does. It's meticulous. The horses are cared for first, fed well, then the guests themselves are bathed, anointed with oil.
Given thick fleece cloaks and tunics, seated properly.
Right. A maidservant brings a golden pitcher, a silver basin for washing, a polished table appears, a housekeeper serves bread generously.
And a carver with platters of all kinds of meat, golden goblets. It's the full royal treatment. What does all this detail signify beyond just being nice to guests?
It's a performance of status. It shows Menelaos' immense wealth, his power, his adherence to expected norms. It takes serious resources to do this.
It's projecting an image.
Exactly. And then Menelaos invites them to eat, and even before asking who they are, he clocks their noble bearing. He says they seem like they're of the race of men who are kings, whom Zeus sustains.
So he recognizes quality nobility right away.
Yes, lineage is key. And Telemachus, he's just blown away by the palace. He whispers to Pisistratos about the gleaming bronze, the gold, amber, silver, ivory.
He compares it to Zeus's court on Olympos.
He does. He says, wonder takes me as I look on it. It's not just a rich house. It's seen as a sign of divine blessing, almost otherworldly splendor.
That link between wealth and divine favor seems really strong here. But then Menelaos overhears him, and the mood shifts a bit, doesn't it?
It does. Menelaos addresses them directly. He acknowledges his wealth, saying no mortal could rival Zeus, but then immediately pivots.
To the cost.
Right, the cost. He talks about his suffering, his wanderings, Cyprus, Phoenicia, Egypt, Ethiopia, Libya, this amazing land where sheep breed 3 times a year.
So wealth gathered through hardship and travel.
Immense wealth, yes, but he says it brings him no pleasure. And the reason is the murder of his brother, Agamemnon, killed by his cursed wife's treachery. He even says he'd trade 2/3 of it to have his men from Troy back.
Wow. That's heavy. The crown is heavy, literally and figuratively. This idea that great wealth doesn't equal happiness.
It's a recurring theme, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ancient wisdom right there. And it gets more specific, more personal. He singles out Odysseus as a major source of his ongoing grief.
Odysseus.
Yeah. He laments not knowing Odysseus' fate, how the worry ruins his food, his sleep. He talks about Odysseus' incredible efforts during the war, and he thinks about Odysseus' family, Laertes, Penelope, and Telemachus grieving too.
And hearing his father's name, Telemachus reacts.
He's overcome. Tears well up, and he pulls his purple robe over his face to hide them. It's a powerful, silent confirmation of his connection.
Then, just as this heavy grief settles, Helen makes her entrance. Quite an entrance, too.
Oh, yes. She comes from her fragrant chamber, looking like Artemis of the golden distaff. Very symbolic.
Goddess of the hunt, but also associated with weaving, craft.
Exactly. And she's got maids carrying her chair, and these luxurious gifts she received in Egypt, a silver work basket on wheels, edged with gold, and a golden distaff. Wealth and status clearly displayed.
And she immediately notices Telemachus.
Instantly. She says something like, I've never seen such a likeness, remarking on his resemblance to Odysseus. Her heart tells her it must be him.
And she makes that incredibly frank comment.
About the Trojan War being fought for the sake of shameless me. It's quite a moment of self-awareness, or perhaps calculated candor. Menelaos agrees about the resemblance.
And Pisistratos steps in to formally introduce Telemachus.
He does. He confirms the identity, praises Telemachus' modesty, saying he's shy about speaking first in front of Menelaos, and explains Nestor sent them for advice, because Telemachus is suffering back home without his father.
So the mission is laid bare, and this confirmation triggers more emotion, right?
Yes, Menelaos expresses deep affection for Odysseus, wishing he could have given him land in Argos. And then everyone starts weeping. Helen, Telemachus, Menelaos, even Pisistratos weeps, remembering his brother Antilochus, who also died at Troy.
It's a wave of shared grief, showing just how deep the scars of the war run for everyone involved.
Absolutely. But then Pisistratos, showing that wisdom again, steps in.
Right, the thoughtful young man.
He suggests, essentially, that weeping after dinner isn't the best idea. He says there's always a new dawn tomorrow, and they should eat now and talk more in the morning.
Remarkable maturity. Maybe it's being Nestor's son, maybe it's seeing so much loss.
Probably both. He redirects the emotion very effectively. So they pause the heavy talk, but then Helen does something, well, almost magical.
Ah, yes, the special drink.
Right. She slips a drug into the wine, something called nepenthe. Heart's ease, free of gall, to make one forget all sorrows.
Potent stuff. It says it could stop you crying even if your parents or children were murdered right in front of you.
Incredible, isn't it? And it comes from Polydamna in Egypt, this land described as having fertile earth, producing countless medicines, where every man is a doctor.
That tells you a lot about how they viewed Egypt, ancient, knowledgeable, maybe a bit mystical.
Definitely. A source of powerful, perhaps even supernatural remedies. And with the mood lightened by this heart's ease, Helen shares a story about Odysseus.
His Trojan spy mission.
Exactly. How he disguised himself as a beggar, beaten up and wearing rags to get inside Troy.
And Helen recognized him?
She says she was the only one. She bathed him, anointed him, and swore an oath not to reveal him until he got back to the Greek ships.
And then he gathered intelligence.
Yes, struck down some Trojans and brought back vital information. Helen even adds that her heart was happy then, regretting the madness Aphrodite gave me that made her leave Menelaos in her home.
Interesting admission again, and Menelaos follows up with his own Odysseus story.
He does. Praising Odysseus' endurance, he tells the story of the wooden horse. How Helen, with Deiphobos now, walked around it, calling out the names of the Greek heroes inside.
Mimicking their wives' voices, that's treacherous.
Extremely. Menelaos says he and Diomedes were desperate to shout back, but Odysseus physically restrained them.
Held them back.
And one guy, Antilochus, almost broke, but Odysseus clamped his hand over his mouth, brutally squeezing until he was silent. Saved everyone inside.
Just incredible nerve and leadership from Odysseus. These stories really build him up, even in his absence.
They absolutely do. But the next morning, it's back to the present crisis. Telemachus formally states his plea.
He lays it all out, suitors consuming his estate, slaughtering his sheep and cattle, these hateful men. He begs Menelaos for the truth about his father.
And Menelaos is incensed by the suitors' behavior. He uses that powerful image, comparing them to helpless fawns bedding down in a lion's den, only for the lion, Odysseus, to return and bring shameful destruction.
A clear prophecy of doom for them. He wishes Odysseus were there right now, strong as he was when he wrestled Philomelides back in Lesbos.
Yeah, invoking Odysseus' past strength. Then Menelaos shares his own story of trying to get home, which involved getting stranded.
In Egypt, right, on Pharos Island.
For 20 days. Because he'd failed to make proper sacrifices. Supplies were dwindling, strength failing.
Until he got help.
From Idathea, the daughter of Proteus, the old man of the sea.
A sea nymph.
Proteus knows everything about the sea.
All the depths, the text says. He's Poseidon's underthing, his servant or vassal. Idathea tells Menelaos how to ambush her father.
The seal playing.
Right. Choose 3 companions, hide under freshly skinned seal skins. She even gives them ambrosia to block the awful stench, and grab Proteus when he lies down among his seals at noon.
And the ambush. Proteus doesn't make it easy.
Not at all. He's a shapeshifter. He turns into a lion, a serpent, a leopard, a boar, running water, even a tall tree.
Wow, so they just had a Pharisee. Hold on stiffly, with enduring spirit, the text says, through all the terrifying transformations until he finally gives up and returns to his old man form.
Incredible persistence needed. What does that ordeal say about getting answers from the divine, or semi-divine?
It suggests divine knowledge isn't given freely. It has to be earned, wrestled for, through courage and sheer tenacity. You have to prove you're worthy of the truth.
So, once subdued, what does Proteus tell Menelaos?
First, how to get home. Go back to the Nile, the sky-fallen river in Egypt, and offer holy hecatombs, major sacrifices to the gods. Appease them properly this time.
Standard procedure, really. Pay your dues to the gods.
Pretty much. But then Menelaos pushes for more information, news of the other Greek leaders from Troy.
And Proteus delivers. Some grim news, too.
Very grim. First, Aias, the lesser Aias, presumably. Poseidon initially saved him from the rocks.
But then
Aias boasted, full of wild madness, that he'd escaped the sea despite the gods. Hubris. Huge. Poseidon heard him, got angry, smashed the rock. Aias was on with his trident, and Aias drowned. Classic case of pride before a fall.
a cautionary tale. What about Agamemnon, Menelaos' brother?
Even worse, in a way. Proteus reveals the treachery. Agamemnon made it close to home, helped by Hera, but Aegisthus.
The one who took up with Agamemnon's wife, Clytemnestra.
Oh, yes. He'd bribed a watchman 2 talents of gold to look out for Agamemnon's return for a whole year.
Wow, premeditated.
Completely. Aegisthus set an ambush with 20 men. He welcomed Agamemnon home through a feast and then killed him feasting as one strikes down an ox at his manger. Brutal. None of Agamemnon's men survived either.
Just horrific. Betrayal at the moment of triumph. And finally, Odysseus.
Finally, Proteus gives Menelaos the news Telemachus needs. He says he saw Odysseus on an island weeping big tears.
Calypso's island.
Yes, in the palace of the nymph Calypso. Held there by constraint, unable to leave because he has no ship, no crew.
So alive but trapped. It's not victory, but it's information. Something concrete for Telemachus.
Exactly. It changes everything for Telemachus' quest. He now knows where his father is and why he hasn't returned. It's a huge piece of the puzzle.
And Proteus had one more prophecy, a personal one for Menelaos.
A very unique one. He tells Menelaos he won't die in Argos, his homeland. Instead, the gods will send him to the Elysian field at the world's end.
Paradise, basically.
Sounds like it. Easiest life for mortals. No snow, no winter, no rain. Just gentle west winds. A blissful afterlife.
And why does he get this special treatment?
Because Proteus says, Helen is yours, and you are son-in-law, therefore, to Zeus. It's his connection to divinity through marriage.
Fascinating. Merit through connection. So Menelaos does the sacrifices in Egypt, builds a memorial mound for Agamemnon.
And the gods give him a swift journey home.
Yeah.
Back in Sparta, he offers Telemachus parting gifts, generous ones.
3 horses, a chariot, a golden goblet, top-tier heroic gifts.
Absolutely, but Telemachus shows that practical wisdom again.
He turns down the horses.
Politely, yes. He explains Ithaca isn't horse country. It's rocky, good for goats, no wide courses, no meadows like Menelaos has in Sparta. Horses wouldn't thrive there.
Smart kid. Knows his home turf. How does Menelaos take that?
He admires it. He praises Telemachus' good sense and agrees. So he swaps the horses for something else.
A more suitable gift.
A magnificent silver mixing bowl, edged with gold, made by Hephaestus himself, the smith god. Menelaos got it from King Phaidemos of Sidon, a truly royal and practical gift.
A great exchange, showing mutual respect. But while all this has happened in Sparta, trouble is brewing back home in Ithaca.
Big trouble. The plot shifts back and the danger ramps up. It starts with Noemon.
The guy who lent Telemachus the ship.
Right. He casually asks Antinous, one of the lead suitors, when Telemachus is coming back because, well, he needs his ship.
And the sitters are surprised.
Shocked. They thought Telemachus was still somewhere on Ithaca, maybe at his farm. They had no idea he'd actually sailed.
How did they not know?
Seems Telemachus kept it quiet, or they were too arrogant to notice. Noemon adds that he lent the ship willingly, and then he drops a confusing detail.
About Mentor.
Yeah, he says he saw Mentor, who they all know is Athene in disguise, though they don't know that boarding the ship with Telemachus. But, he says, he saw the real Mentor in Ithaca just yesterday.
A hint of divine help that the suitors don't quite grasp, but it puzzles them.
Exactly. It plants a seed of confusion. But Antinous, he's just furious that Telemachus pulled off the voyage at all.
Calls it monstrous. Insolently put through.
Pure rage. And he immediately starts plotting. He proposes an ambush.
The deadly trap.
20 men in a fast ship waiting in the narrow strait between Ithaca and Samos near a rocky island called Asteris.
Their plan?
To catch Telemachus on his way back and kill him. To make him sorry for this seagoing. It's cold-blooded.
And someone overhears this.
Thankfully, yes. Midden, the herald, who seems loyal to the household, overhears the whole plot.
And he tells Penelope.
He does. and she's devastated. Absolute crushed, speechless at first, then overcome with tears. She blames her maids for not telling her Telemachus had even left.
Her reaction is pure grief and fear, isn't it? Lost Odysseus, now her son is in mortal danger.
Exactly. She calls Telemachus her beloved son, an innocent, all unversed in fighting and speaking. Complete despair.
But then her old nurse, Eurycleia, steps in.
Yes, Eurycleia confesses she knew Telemachus was leaving. He made her swear an oath not to tell Penelope for 12 days, precisely to avoid this kind of weeping and distress.
Trying to protect his mother even as he left.
Yeah. Eurycleia then gives Penelope some practical advice. Wash up, change clothes, go upstairs, and pray to Athene.
And she offers some reassurance.
She does. She tells Penelope not to despair, that the gods don't entirely hate Odysseus' line, the seed of Achilleus, and an heir will surely survive. A little bit of hope.
So Penelope follows the advice.
She does. She washes, dresses, and prays fervently to Athena, reminding the goddess of all the sacrifices Odysseus used to make, begging her to save her son from the suitors.
And the text says the goddess hears her prayer.
It does. A crucial detail. Meanwhile, downstairs,
The suitors are clueless.
completely oblivious that Penelope knows their plan. They're actually joking among themselves, arrogantly assuming her distress means she's finally ready to choose one of them to marry.
The irony is thick. They have no idea how the murder of her son is appointed.
None at all. Antinous tells them to shut up and get on with it. The chosen 20 suitors board their ship and sail to Asteris.
They anchor and wait for evening, planning sudden death for Telemachus.
The trap is set. It's a real cliffhanger moment. But the gods aren't idle.
Athene intervenes again.
Yes. While Penelope is consumed by fear and sorrow, Athene sends a painless sleep over her.
And a dream.
A dream image, looking exactly like Penelope's sister, if time. This phantom comes to her bedside.
To comfort her.
Yes. The dream assures Penelope that the gods protect Telemachus and that her son will have his homecoming even yet. Relief floods through Penelope in the dream.
Does the dream say anything about Odysseus?
Penelope asks, but the dream refuses, saying it won't babble emptily. So comfort about her son, but still uncertainty about her husband. Penelope wakes up feeling soothed, though. Soothed in the inward heart.
Some measure of peace, thanks to divine intervention. But the episode ends with that chilling image.
The suitors, waiting in ambush on their ship at Asteris as night falls, ready to kill Telemachus.
Wow. What a journey through just this one section of the text. We've seen so much: the deep importance of hospitality, the complex burden of wealth, the raw grief from the war.
And the incredible wit of characters like Odysseus and Helen, contrasted with the danger Telemachus faces. It really sets up the stakes perfectly. You have the desperate son, the trapped father, the grieving mother, all tangled up with these dangerous suitors.
It really shows how these very personal stories, Telemachus' search, Menelaos' grief, Penelope's fear, are woven into this larger tapestry of, fate, divine actions, and the consequences of war.
Absolutely. And maybe that leads to a final thought for you to consider. How often, perhaps, in our own lives, are our personal struggles, our own journeys, actually part of a much larger narrative that we can't fully see, maybe influenced by forces or circumstances well beyond our immediate grasp?